Are we doing this?
I think we're doing this.
We're doing it like right now.
There's no turning back now, Maggie.
Nope, no cuts.
We have to go forward and follow through, and I think we're going to do that. This is a big moment.
This is a big moment. We've been talking about this for so long.
Okay, so how do we start? Do we actually introduce the show, or do we run the intro and then introduce the show?
Let's introduce the show and then run the intro song, and then
I'll introduce the show again.
Sounds good. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Hi guys, I'm Maggie. This is my dad.
And this is Wholesome Chaos.
Mags and Dads, Wholesome Chaos. Mags and Dads, Wholesome Chaos.
All right, I'd say there's room for improvement, but it's the first episode. We'll get better.
Oh my gosh, that intro though. That is so good. I'm literally so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
So for those of you who don't know, which is all of you, Eddie, Maggie's brother, and our son, not our son, but my wife and I, Shay's son, I can't do that.
Oh, this is going really good. So for those of you who don't know, that intro song was actually created by my brother, Eddie. And then him and I recorded the vocals and he mixed it, and he's incredible, insane.
And you designed our logo?
Yeah, I think something really cool about this podcast is so much, well, really all of it essentially was done by our family.
Yep. And right now, Eddie's in the studio mixing audio. And Maggie's mom, Shay, my wife, is also here on cameras.
Can we talk about something real quick? Because you just said Mom Shay. Her name's Shilia, but everyone calls her Shay.
Right.
And your name is not Dad, it's Dan.
That's true.
Are you familiar with the musical artist Dan and Shay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's been pointed out to us many a time.
People always tell me that.
But it's two guys. It's like two dudes.
Yeah, but it's still funny.
It is funny, especially when you see the billboard, Dan and Shay. I think that was the first time we were like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think I was driving somewhere and I heard a song and I was like, oh, this is a cool song. Looked at it, Dan and Shay. I was like, oh, I didn't know my parents had a side gig.
Yeah. She went to being called Shay relatively recently. I would say 10 years ago, maybe.
That's your definition of recently?
Well, considering that we've been around a while, yeah.
Well, that's more than half
and
of
then
my
the
life.
reason was, well, that's your life. My life's a lot longer, right?
That's true.
And you should remember that, young lady, because there's some things I know that you don't know yet.
Okay.
Okay. So, but no, she got tired of people not being able to pronounce her name properly because it's Shelia, and it's not Sheila, which is more common. Shelia. In my life, I've only met one other Shelia.
I've never met
And so we would go to these events with great friends we'd see every year who just weren't comfortable pronouncing her name. And they would just say, hey, you. And they would know her, but they wouldn't trust themselves to say her name.
I get that because I definitely feel that with some names, but I'm also a really big believer that like people's names are worth learning.
Yeah, it's true.
I remember growing up, I'd always correct people on my mom's name. And that's okay. I also remember, because you have a pretty simple name, like Daniel. So if like a teacher had a roster and was a sub, they could easily read it Daniel. My full name, for those of you guys who don't know, is Magdalena. Love the name. I think it's beautiful. I'm very grateful you guys gave it to me. But subs had such a hard time reading that off a roster.
What would they say? How could you get it wrong? It's very phonetic.
A lot of people say Magdalena, which I understand. That's not crazy off.
That's not bad.
I had one teacher call me Magnolia.
Magnolia?
And I was like, okay, not a tree, but kind of fun.
Yeah, it's the same amount of syllables, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe she has, to her defense, maybe she has, like me, issues with eyesight. Like you're getting older, you can't read as well. And she didn't have her glasses near her. Magnolia.
Let's go with that.
I could totally dig that. So yes, I agree it's important to learn to pronounce people's names. But there's certain people who get really offended if you mispronounce their name. And I think that's also something that's like you should get over that. If you have an unusual name like Shelia, your mom was very comfortable with people not getting it. In fact, this is a funny story, but when I first called her to ask her out, when I had met her and we were working together and she told me her name, I thought she said Julia.
What?
I thought she said Julia. And so I got her number. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I'm like working myself up. And I pick up the phone and I dial the number and she answers and it's her. And I recognize her voice. And I said, yes, Julia, please. And she said, there's no one here by that name. And I was like shocked. What do I do now? I said, oh, okay, sorry. And I hung up.
No.
And I knew it was her. And then I had to do like a secret mission to actually learn her name so I could call her back.
So you didn't
but
think...
well, go ahead.
See, if that would have happened to me and I called someone and was like, is there this person? And they said there's no one by that name, I would have thought they were just ghosting me. Like they were Julia or whatever. They just didn't want to talk to me. That process didn't run through your head?
No, I just figured I got the name wrong, I guess. And maybe I wasn't 100% confident in it anyway. So Shay, back to that, once she changed her name to Shay, everybody knew her name. Everybody was very comfortable because, Dan and Shay.
Yeah, and then you guys started
right back to that
highly successful music group, yeah?
Exactly.
Very proud of you, too.
So this podcast is going to be really fun for us, really exciting, but I'm also really hopeful that we could make a great difference in people's lives and we can bring some entertainment and joy. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, I just wanted to point out, this is like episode 1, just to reinforce that.
We'll get better. We promise.
Well, no, we will get better for sure. But what I was going to say is that you have an opportunity right now to say, I listened to this show from the very first episode. I was there right at the beginning. So if you're here right at the beginning, thank you for being here. Thank you for following Maggie and for taking a leap of faith to go on this journey with us, and stick around and watch the progress and tell your friends. And I think we can have a lot of fun together.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a really interesting podcast because we bring such different things. Like, I'm a kid, kind of young adult. You're a older adult, not an old adult, but an older adult. And you're a motivational speaker, which I feel like a lot of people don't know, but your job is literally to motivate, to encourage, to help people be the best they can be in life. And I think that's absolutely going to play into the podcast and is something you should definitely go for. But we also...
I don't even know that you know this, though, but you're not a motivational speaker per se, but you have that same sense of encouraging others, giving to others, making people feel better about themselves. That's not just me. That's not just what I bring. I think it's what we bring. And I think you should totally own it. Step into it.
I think it's something I've been so blessed with growing up in the household I did. People say all the time, like, you're so lucky to have your family. And I completely agree. Like, I love my family. I don't take y'all for granted. But I really did grow up in such an atmosphere where I was encouraged with every little thing. I mean, both my brother and I, from very early ages, were like, hey, we want to be actors. And you guys didn't shoot us down. You didn't say, oh, that's a stupid dream. That's whatever. You put us in classes. You took us to acting camp. You told us, okay, this is going to be a hard pursuit, but we're going to support you through it. And I think that is something so few people have, which is tragic. Like, that's so sad. But I think that's why it's really important to put that back out into the world. And I've definitely also seen that in my friend group, and it just makes life so much easier and so much better. Like, even when things are difficult, to have a support system that's going to help you through it.
Well, it makes life better, but it also makes people better. It's amazing. It's always amazed me the amount of when you believe in someone, or when someone believes in you, you suddenly become better. Like, you want to prove that they're right in their assessment of your ability or whatnot. And so encouraging someone, even if you know in your mind, it's like, oh, that could be better or whatnot, you have to provide that sense of encouragement. So that's been the tricky balance of being a parent for us, is like, how do you continually challenge your kids and say, you can be better, you can do better, but you're amazing, without overhyping it so that they get this sense of narcissism and that it's all about them. It's a weird balance to try to get.
Criticism is important.
But I think what every parent ultimately wants, or certainly not speaking for every parent, but what I wanted was, when you find that thing that your kid says, like, this excites me, I want to work for this, I want to get better at this, because it may or may not be my thing, right? And it wasn't in Eddie's case and in your case, and the things that I loved and did were not the things you wanted to love and do. And you have to be like, okay, well, what is the thing that you're going to say? I'm going to kick my butt. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to be great at it. And once you see that, you've got to pour into it.
Yeah. I love that we got motivational in the first episode. You know what Grandma told me the other day?
What?
She told me, you might have been there, but she told me because she was asking what my future was looking like the plans, what I wanted to do. And I told her some different things. And she said that I may not see it right now, but she said she thinks I'm going to be a motivational speaker.
Grandma said that?
Yeah. I was like, I don't think so, but
well,
cool.
you're a motivational person. I guess that's the thing. Yeah. And Grandma, it's cool that she's still a big part of our lives and encouraging both of us in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about growing up and memories of growing up, one of the things I remember about growing up is sitting around the breakfast table and eating bowls of cereal.
Yeah.
And you'd have these boxes of cereal that were really fun. And you'd look at the back of the boxes. There'd be like games or mazes on the puzzles. But we came to find like super sugary, bad for you cereals. And so as I'm growing up, like the idea has always been like, how can I recapture that idea of eating great, fun cereal, but do it in a way that's way more healthy? And that leads us to our first like exciting sponsor of the show. Would you tell us about Magic Spoon?
I can. That was an amazing segue. I wasn't even caught on to it at first.
Well, get used to it, girl, because this is episode 1. We do amazing segues on this show.
Absolutely. So, I'm trying to eat better. Are you trying to eat better?
All the time.
We're always trying to eat better. But healthy breakfast doesn't always have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. It has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and 140 calories total a serving.
Yep, that's right. And it's also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. And they come in this variety pack, which is 4 flavors: cocoa, frosted, fruity, and peanut butter. What's your favorite flavor, Maggie?
My favorite is the fruity. I've always liked fruity.
Yeah, that was the first one you tried. You're like, this is good, and it is good. I also like the frosted on its own. It's got, it's amazing that there's like 0 grams of sugar, and yet it has such a sweet, fun taste. Absolutely. And then when you mix the peanut butter and chocolate, I like that too. The cocoa and peanut butter, that's a really delicious one.
And you're very much a cereal person. So this was a perfect fit for you.
It's true.
So if you want to try some of the Magic Spoon, all you have to do is go to magicspoon.com/wholesome to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code Wholesome at checkout to save $5 off your first order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's 100% backed with a happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/wholesome, please. And use the code Wholesome to save $5 off. $5 off, that's a big deal. So magicspoon.com/wholesome. And when you use that code, what's also important is that it's a way of supporting the show.
Absolutely.
Because they're like our first sponsor. We're so excited. So cheers to Magic Spoon.
Cheers to Magic Spoon.
Our first sponsor ever. And then, that lets them know that you learned about them through us. And so it kind of feeds that loop of reciprocity. You have another topic for us, Maggie?
I do. I'd say arguably our most popular bit of content of our TikToks is our push in the pool videos. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
And do you remember how those started?
Yeah. Well, like everything that really hits, it was generally your idea. and I just go along with it. You're like, Dad, come with me to the office. We're going to do this video. And so, by the way, that's right. There's an office. We have an office away from our house, and there's a pool at the office.
Yeah, people get really confused when I say things like, oh, I didn't have a change of clothes here, because This isn't our house.
No, we don't sleep here.
Yeah.
But we work here, and it's close to our house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and there's a pool. And so, so you basically said, we're going to ask each other questions, and if we get them wrong, then we're going to push each other in the pool. And I was like, okay, we'll figure it out. And I literally thought, there's no way this could be really interesting.
You did not think it was funny at all. I mean, we had fun filming it just because we were pushing each other in the pool. But afterwards, I remember he was saying, you know, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem very funny. And then I edited it, and I think you liked it a little bit better then.
She's a good editor. She's a really good editor.
And then people really liked it.
So is Eddie, by the way, and Shay. All three of them.
Everyone in the house edits except for you.
Well, I can edit. I edit. I just find it easier to. Well, I don't know the current software as well as I use the older softwares, but
you
I
edit
get
in
it.
the app in TikTok
Usually,
which I feel like is so much harder.
yes.
Maybe I'll teach you how to edit one day, or Mom can, since she's the one who taught all of us how to edit. But yeah, we filmed it. You didn't think it was very great, and then I think it was after part 4. There were like millions and millions of likes, and people really, really loved it. That's when it took off. And still, like 15 parts in or so, we'd film it, and you'd say, I don't know. I don't think there was anything funny in that one. And here we are, 30-something parts later.
Yeah.
And I think they're pretty funny.
Yeah, but don't you think that part of it is not just the fact that, there's funny lines or funny things happen, but it's just what people would say is that they see the reaction between us. In fact, some of those videos, like we would even stop talking about the questions, and we would just start talking about what's going on in our lives. And I think maybe that was the first glimpse that we should do a podcast.
Yeah.
Like people were interested in the dynamic of us talking,
Which blows my mind, which is so cool that
Well, think about me. Like we're going to make a commitment every week to have a meaningful conversation between the two of us. That's a dad's dream. Aww. Really, it is.
Because we don't talk outside of this. We're super distant.
No, actually, what we've been doing is we get into a conversation. We're like, oh wait, don't talk about this now. Save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I forget what we were talking about. So it doesn't really help.
But I write it down, so it works out. I'm still so nervous. Are you nervous right now?
Excited is how I like to reframe my nervousness. Like there's a frequency, an energy, a buzz of not knowing exactly how this is going to happen and how it fits, right? Like, how does this fit into our life? Because already our lives are very, very full. That's part of the theme, Wholesome Chaos. It's like we live in chaos. We live as a family in this constantly ever-shifting landscape of opportunities. Yeah. And throughout your lives, you and Eddie both have had great choices about what am I going to do? What am I going to do? This or that, and have to be flexible to go with the flow. And a lot of, like, one of the things we talk about is like, there's a lot of great answers. There's a lot of excellent opportunities. So how much can you handle? Say yes to what you can and go with it. And that's what we do.
Absolutely.
But we're stretching for sure.
Yeah. But I think something interesting that I've noticed that's different with, I guess, our family and like my friends a little bit is when we get overwhelmed and we get stressed, not doing it is never an option. Like if things get tough, it's never, okay, well, I guess this isn't going to get done. It's, okay, I need help. Okay, we need to rethink it. We need to reframe it. But
like we don't let ourselves off the hook.
Yeah. Like if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it, which has been a point of conflict with some friends lately of just like making plans where so many things fall through.
Well, Eddie's had that frustration, I think, from the times when in middle school when you started trying to make plans with friends and you're like, why don't people actually do what they say they're going to do?
Let's name drop them. Let's call them out on the podcast right now.
Now, none of those are still around. They're all gone. They're different friends.
Yeah, but that's a huge thing with people now is things just don't get done. I've had so many times where I wanted to go on a trip to Canada. Just that's kind of random, but I wanted to do a road trip with some friends, drive up and go see the Degrassi high school set and like just have fun there. Granted, it wasn't totally their fault because I found out the Canadian border is still closed. So it wasn't going to get done anyways. But what's an issue for me is when everyone says they're going to do it and then last minute it's like doesn't get done, which is so frustrating. But luckily, usually if friends bail on me, my family is more than happy to join instead, which is always
Yeah, we'll
fun.
fit it in. We'll go somehow. We'll drive with you to Canada. Why not?
Really?
Sure.
I have that on recording right now that you're going to drive to Canada and take pictures of me in front of the Degrassi High School steps.
Mom's giving me a thumbs up. She's in. Eddie,
We're
you want to
going
go
to
to
Canada?
Canada? Yep.
We're
all
going to
in.
Canada! You know, if we go to Canada, you know, we can't forget to pack
What?
CBD.
Oh, absolutely. CBD is great. And it's not about what you feel, it's about what you don't feel. Stress, anxiety, pain.
I love CBD. I think our whole family does. And it's something I always recommend to friends and family. And I've seen a personal improvement in my life. And Feels is a better way to feel better. Feels is a premium CBD that will help you clear your head and feel your best. It's hassle-free, delivered directly to your door. CBD naturally helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. There's no hangover or addiction.
And it helps, for me, it helps me increase my range of motion and my freedom of movement and reduces the pain in my joints for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you place a few drops under your tongue and you can feel the difference within minutes. The thing to remember about CBD is that finding your right dose is important and everyone's dose is different. In fact, Feels offers a free CBD hotline to help guide your personal experience so that you can find your perfect dose. The Feels customer service team is dedicated to making sure you get the best use of your CBD.
Joining the Feels monthly membership makes your self-care so easy. You'll save money on every order and you can pause or cancel at any time. Start feeling better with Feels. Become a member today by going to feels.com/chaos and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's feals.com/chaos to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. Feels.com/chaos.
That's an interesting thing. What came to mind when you were talking about friends following through and doing what they're saying they're going to do. Two things. Number one, to get a little bit more motivational again, like that's the biggest skill in life. If you can master that ability to honor your commitments, to show up when you say you're going to be there and like get things done, it doesn't really matter what field you're in, what job you select, what profession, if you start a business, work for someone else, like you're going to be okay. Because you know you can be the architect of your life. And others will be like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. We need you on our team because most people aren't like you. I guess the point is it doesn't take much to stand out a big way. Just be legit.
Put in the effort.
And then the second thing was, like, as a dad, when you and Eddie were growing up, for me, I was really careful about making any promises. Mom's the same way. Like, when you're like, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Like, if I said, I promise, it checked this box in my mind that was like, you cannot let this fail. This must happen. Because it's this moment where you're going to like prove to your kids whether or not they can trust you or what promises really mean. And so I think I've been pretty good about that, about not making any promises that I didn't back up. But it's been a really important part of being a dad.
Going back to the time when Eddie and I were kids, can we just talk about the fights you and I had when I was younger? Because looking back at them, I feel like the fights I had with my parents as an 8-year-old was like I was 60. Like the way I would write you guys angry notes explaining why I was disappointed in you. Like,
I have some of those notes.
we might have to bring those out for a podcast.
Okay.
Well, actually, let me read it first. But no, when I got really angry with my parents, I would write them these notes that just expressed my anger and expressed how frustrated I was with them and disappointed and how unfair life was. And I would fold it up and just like slip it under their door. And that's, looking back at that, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Remember when we had mailboxes? You made us all mailboxes? And
I didn't make them. Mom bought them for us for like a Valentine's Day or something. We had.
You got really excited about that.
I was so excited.
But I think you were the only one using the mailboxes.
No, you guys left me notes occasionally for birthdays and stuff. No, I guess we were a big note family. Like we wrote a lot of notes, but I found a note from you that you dropped off at my high school my senior year with the lunch I forgot, I guess. And it was so sweet. I still kept it. I keep most of my like notes or cards and stuff, but it was so sweet. And it was talking about finishing the year strong and how proud you were of me. That was a few weeks before high school got canceled because of Corona, and I never got to go back. But it was just a really sweet thing to do, and those meant a lot.
Yeah, they're all good. I think that your mom and I did that for each other when we were dating too.
Aww.
And so, yeah, notes are never a bad idea. It's just another way to show somebody you're thinking about them, and you plant them somewhere where you hope they're going to find them. And
you know when notes aren't a great idea?
uh-oh.
Do you remember a time we were visiting a boy in a place that I was interested in at the time, to give a ton of details?
The boy or the place, or both?
Both, actually. Beautiful place.
Okay.
But the trip,
that narrows it down.
It was just you and I, and we visited him and his family. And the trip didn't go great for the two of us. It was very awkward. I was like 14 or something. I was 15 maybe. I was pretty young. And I was a little bummed.
I know where this is going.
And you told me what I had to do was to write him a note and leave it in his room. And I didn't want to do it, but you convinced me that it was going to be great and it was going to be amazing, and it wasn't. And it was really awkward, and we still joke about it to this day.
Did he find the note?
Yes.
What was his reaction to the note? I don't know what the note says.
He texted me and he was like, "Thanks for the note," or something. It wasn't a great reaction.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a little bit sad. Actually, I was very sad. But it's okay, because we grew up, we moved past it, and I'm probably never going to do that again. But
leave a note?
In that context.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, that's the thing about advice is you can't really understand everybody's exact circumstances.
Yeah. Mental health is so important, and I know what helps me personally is talking to someone. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours.
It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help, it's professional counseling done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need to.
It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit their website and read their testimonies that are posted daily. Visit betterhelp.com/chaos. That's better, HELP, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Mags and Dad's Wholesome Chaos listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/chaos.
Hey, quick question.
Sure.
Where's your watch? Where's your Apple Watch?
I haven't been wearing my Apple Watch in the last month or so, maybe 3-4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because it was actually during our last push in the pool video, and the people always, I generally wear my Apple Watch and jump in the pool because they're water resistant, and I've never had a problem with that before. So, but people comment, they say, don't wear your Apple Watch in the pool or whatever, it's going to break, and I'm being irresponsible, so I didn't want to do that. And so I literally took off. I put down my towel, I put down my wallet and my car keys, and I stood up and I took down my watch, and I took it off and I dropped it on the towel, and I missed the towel, and it fell from about 5 feet, hit the cement of the pool deck, and shattered. And so in trying to protect my watch, I destroyed my watch.
Why would you not just set it down? But to drop it from 5 feet.
I was already in motion. I was already on my way to the next thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And how'd that work out for you?
Well, it's nice getting used to not wearing a watch again. I was way too used to wearing a watch.
But how do you find your phone now?
Oh my gosh, that's the hardest part.
My dad is one of those people who his phone could be a foot away from him, and he has to do the thing on his watch to ping it to find it. It's crazy.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I'm getting better at that.
Now you just have to ask us to call it.
No, now I have to get on my iPad to tell find my phone to send a ding.
Life is hard.
No. I haven't actually done that, but I haven't lost my phone.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I did lose my phone on a disc golf course.
That's true.
And I had to have Mom ping my phone, but I found it.
That's good.
Yep. That's
very
good. No, I think I've got a birthday coming up, and I might gift myself a Apple Watch for my birthday. But in the meantime, I decided I'm suffering the consequences of my decision. Like I could buy another watch right now, but I'm deliberately giving myself time to realize I shouldn't do that again. I guess
it's true, but also maybe don't gift yourself a watch because maybe other people would like to gift you a watch.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know who, but maybe someone. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. We'll see.
Are you excited for your birthday?
I am excited for my birthday. It's always a good day.
It's a big day for a lot of people.
July 4th.
Yeah.
Yes.
My dad's birthday is July 4th, and my grandma's birthday, his mom, is also July 4th.
So it's a big family day, generally, and it's a big, of course, celebration here in the United States.
It's just for you two, right?
Well, fireworks growing up, on your birthday every year is pretty cool. It's been really amazing. So, but I'll be turning 53. And as you know, as someone who's acrobatic and athletic, I try to keep in shape and keep doing what I'm doing as I'm getting older. And so my thought is that every year I get a little bit, more focused on what I'm doing specifically. But I'm feeling good, feeling strong. I'm going to do a backflip at 60.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I probably won't do a backflip ever again. I don't know. We'll see.
Your form's great. I don't know why you don't trust yourself to just do it.
That's funny because it reminds me of another story from my childhood.
Your form's great.
Well, do you remember this one time we were working on backflips?
Yes, I remember this time. I know right where you're going.
14 or so.
Yes.
And you told me that I had it, and all I had to do was just send it without you spotting. And you said if I did it by myself, then you would take me to the store and buy me clothes. And so I was like, oh, he says I can do it. That means I can do it. And I'm going to get clothes. This is great. So I went for it. I sent it. And it landed on my face.
You didn't send it the way you'd been sending it. I mean, literally, I had one hand on your back spotting you. And I definitely probably bought you more clothes because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did. But no, there was that little inch of doubt in your mind that you started it, I think, and then hesitated and slowed your rotation. Yeah. You had the height, you just didn't have the rotation, and so you kind of fell on the mat safely. We were practicing on mats.
I think I've also just taken a lot of falls, like I grew up doing gymnastics. I did competition cheerleading, and so I have just a fear, like even of back handsprings and stuff now, which I used to do so easy, because I've fallen bad before. I'm like terrified of falling bad again.
So do you think that that's something you'd want to relearn, or like you already know it, but do you want to get comfortable doing it again?
Maybe.
'Cause I could help you with that.
I know. I feel like there's a lot going on right now. A little busy at the moment, where I'm already trying to learn new different things. But maybe.
I think if you want to, honestly, I think it's something cool because if you don't overdo it, you can do it your whole life. Yeah. That's something someone once said to me. As long as you continue to do this, you'll always be able to continue to do this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they meant backflip at 60, but to me, I took it to heart and I was like, I'm going to totally test this. Yeah. It's the minute you stop doing something, and you just say, today's not the day I'm going to do that anymore. I mean, it only takes 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 times when you psychologically think, I don't know if I can do this, before you convince yourself I probably shouldn't, Yeah.
So, Wholesome Chaos.
Yes.
Who came up with that name?
Well, we didn't really come up with it. It was some of the comments in our TikToks. about the family. And it really comes up not just once, but over and over again. But I remember one particular video when someone said, this family is such wholesome chaos. I thought, you know what? That really is it. Because chaos isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means there's a lot of random activity. You don't really know what's happening next. And if we live in that world, but do it in a way that's, wholesome and fun.
And chaotic. I never saw that comment. You told me it was on the video we did last Christmas.
Yep.
Christmas of 2019. So is that 2 Christmases ago? No, that's just 1 Christmas ago, I think.
And so let me tell you the story of that day. So we were feeling some momentum. This was pretty early in your TikTok adventure. Mm-hmm. The numbers were getting really big, and the creativity, and it was so fresh and so new and wonderful. I mean, it's still wonderful, but there's something about that magic time, right? It's like, wow, something's hitting. This is new. We don't quite get it. And we don't really know what people like. And so we had just decided, we had just done a video where you were dancing and Mom and I were dancing in the background. Mm-hmm. And that went crazy. So we were like, well, let's do something like that. And so we were like, what can we do? So it's in front of the pool. And for some reason we thought, we'll come in with a canoe in the pool. And this like a lot of different things happened.
The effort that went into that video, we had to borrow a canoe.
But it's like all of this, just again, an example of getting things done. It went from idea to, okay, we have a canoe in the pool in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we called some neighbors, we found a canoe, can we borrow it? We figured out how to get it there.
Don't ask too many questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really fun TikTok. But you said there was a comment on there that actually put the 2 words wholesome and chaos together. And so when we first started really talking about this podcast as something that was going to happen, and in creative meetings and stuff, my dad brought up that name. And I just...
There's never been another name.
I know.
Since then.
We never considered anything else. It was like Mags and Dad's Wholesome Chaos. That's wonderful.
So thank you guys for being here for the first
one.
episode.
And
for the adventure that awaits us, which is going to be Wholesome Chaos. We're going to learn about what's going on in your life, what you're working on creatively, what I'm working on creatively, the challenges, the fun moments, the high moments. And you can also go to wholesomechaos.com to request ideas about what you'd like to hear us talk about as in future episodes as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. And oh no!
You did it.
Wait. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
High five.
Mags and Dads, Wholesome Chaos. Mags and Dads, Wholesome Chaos. We did our first podcast!